So I was back home at the weekend, and there's a couple of news stories that I've seen online, and one of them is obviously very, very anti-Spain, and going on about tourists and protests, and putting the two together and saying that there's massive protests in Gran Canaria and places like that. And then on the other side of it, there is a story from a family who moved to Bulgaria. And you can tell it's not an anti-Bulgaria because it's the best thing since sliced bread. They've went and bought a house, but we'll talk about the Spanish one first of all, just to show you the difference in the UK media. Now, it is an ongoing situation where the UK media do have this kind of hate for everything EU and everything Spain, but and it's just ongoing, isn't it? So the first picture is obviously in the Metro, a paper renowned for its real stories, and it talks about mass tourism demonstrations in Gran Canaria, and they carefully make sure that the picture that's taken is in front of a protest of a small group of people who are protesting about, yes, Airbnbs and the cost of living. And it's something we've spoke about this before on the channel. It's not just unique to Spain, it is happening all over the UK also. So my question really is when are these UK publications going to start going to places like in the East Neuk of Fife in Scotland, where you have pretty much the same situation as you have here? You have people from Edinburgh, you have people from England moving up to places like Crail in Scotland and buying up all the beachfront properties, using them as second homes, using them as holiday homes for August. And then out with the holiday season, the towns are pretty much dead. And it's the same with Anstruther, a nice little fishing place in Fife, and that's been the same. People that work in the fishing industry can't buy property in their own town. Now let's not start talking about fishing, considering what Keir Starmer has just done with the EU in the last couple of weeks and Brexit and everything. But there is one thing for sure, there is definitely an anti-Spain agenda with the way that the media reports certain things. Which then takes me on to the second story that I saw. A very interesting one. And yes, it's a happy story about a couple that bought a house for £8,000 or €8,000 and moved to Bulgaria with their children. Yes, Bulgaria, that sunny outcrop in the EU that's nice, stable and wealthy country. Not. Now, whilst I've nothing against the Bulgarians and people moving abroad, because we've done it, but it just shows you the two different types of the way that the stories are portrayed. One is a nice happy story and how you can move abroad and buy a property in another country and go to that country and live mortgage free. You can actually do that in Spain, but funnily enough, people, they don't talk about it. Even though you do have the likes of A Place in the Sun and everything doing programmes on an ongoing basis about moving to somewhere in the sun, there is definitely, it becomes even more apparent, especially when you go home and you see these media outlets talking about, you know, the narrative of the tourist and that Spain is anti-tourist, and then you read some of the comments and it's like Spain without tourists is nothing. And yeah, it's a massive part of the Spanish economy, but the Spanish economy isn't all based around the costas. I've drove around enough of Spain to see that it has a wide and varied amount of industries that sustain this huge country. And then there was a story about people boycotting Spain, and a lot of people saying, yep, I'm boycotting Spain. It's the same people that are boycotting Spain that have never been to Spain in their lives maybe, and they're just boycotting it anyway. Having been on a couple of flights and having been in Alicante Airport and Edinburgh Airport over the last weekend, and also knowing someone else that travelled to Spain this weekend, and his flight was completely mobbed. There's no empty seats, and my flights there was no empty seats. So if people are boycotting Spain, they are definitely not boycotting the Alicante or the Valencian region. People going to Benidorm seems to be just at normal numbers. I'm not sure how busy it is up there. I'll need to check out Scotsman in Spain's videos. They seem to be doing quite well up in Benidorm. He's doing well up there, just over for the weekend. And then when it comes to down this side, you know, it's just as busy as ever. So people aren't boycotting Spain. And it is nice to see there were a lot of comments on the videos also of people pointing out this narrative that the UK media seems to have, the UK narrative of let's try and get people, and this is what it really comes down to. It's all about trying to keep people back in the UK, spending your money in the UK. Now, whilst tourism did take a jump in the UK pre-COVID, due to the fact that people couldn't go, I actually seen an interesting publication talk about the fact that less people have actually holidayed in the UK last year, but the amount of money that the companies had made had actually went up due to the increase in prices and stay at home holidays. So it is no wonder programs like A Place in the Sun and everything are still so successful, due to the fact that people still want to move to places in the sun. Whilst it was fantastic weather when I was home at the weekend, and it has been fantastic weather back home in Scotland for about a month now, people still want to have something that's away from the UK. That's a conversation for a whole other video, and the way that just everything is going back home, really, it's quite sad sometimes. But anyway, I am back home. We will be back doing videos for this channel. Had a fantastic time home, seeing the grandkids and seeing my parents and seeing the mother-in-law. But it is good to be back. It's funny when you wake up in Scotland in the morning and I go outside to my brother's and you've got that freshness in the air, that cold air that hits you first thing in the morning, and you're like, yeah, we don't have that. And even on Sunday afternoon there was a wind blowing, and unlike today here, it's that warm wind. You know that feeling that you get when you come off the plane and you open the doors and you just get that nice warm feeling. That's what we've got just now, and that's what people enjoy about coming to Spain. I love going home, and I love the country, and you know, I even had someone comment, you don't even live there anymore, so why can you comment about it? Well, you don't live in Spain, but you have the right to talk about protests here in Spain. It's funny that, isn't it? It's a funny old world. So check out some videos this week. There is an interesting one that I'm doing. I'm going to recap a video that I did 9 months ago, and there has been some protests about the situation, so I'm sure you'll find that one inciting, because it does show how some areas in Spain aren't looked after as well as others. And then over the next couple of weeks I will be visiting some other areas, touristy areas, just to see what it is like, because let's face it, you'll want to see nice happy beach holiday videos. And then we'll take it from there. We'll see where the channel goes. We're going to try and keep doing one video a day on the channel, as much as we can. The videos during the summer, it's harder to do the videos during the day, because when you're filming with your phone, that kind of melts and it's kind of too hot to video during the day, so it might resort to a different type of video. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. We're hitting a new milestone every day. And hit the notification bell. Please hit the notification bell, because we feel that we see the stats, and there's not as many people getting notified of the videos when they first come out, and they're missing out on some fantastic content. And that's what it's all about. Content about living here in fabulous Spain. And on that note, hasta luego.